Hear that? Believe it or not, summer is just around the corner. Luckily, Armor All, America's most trusted auto appearance brand, has what your car needs to get that perfect summer shine. Plus, now through May 31st, we'll give you $5 for every $20 you spend on Armor All products. That means car wash pods, protectant, tire shine, you name it. Find out how to get your $5 rebate at armorall.com. Armor All, less work, more clean. Terms apply.
First, let me say it's a privilege and an honor to meet you. I watch you every day, twice a day.
Thank you.
Okay.
Then you know that doesn't mean I'm going to rule your way.
Exactly, exactly.
You watch me too, right? Every day, twice a day, whether you need me or not?
This is the plaintiff, Allison Allen. She says she hired the defendant to pick her up after a medical procedure where she was sedated and the guy went crazy on her. That's right, he kicked her out of the car while she was still woozy from the anesthesia in the middle of the winter when it was 17 degrees below zero outside. She could have been robbed, raped, or even murdered due to the driver's actions and is suing the uncaring cad for $2,500 for punitive damages and lost wages. This is the defendant, William Yankee. He says this whole thing is one big mix-up because the cab the plaintiff got into was for another customer. Hers was still on the way, but the plaintiff made a huge stink. The driver asked her to get out so he could pick up his cash fare, and well, here they are. He's sorry for the plaintiff's inconvenience, but she was in a safe area, nothing happened to her, and he owes nothing. He's accused of kicking a woman to the curb.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Allison Allen?
Yes.
You are suing Liberty Tax Company, doing business as Liberty Communications, Liberty Cab. William Yankee, you're the owner?
Yes, okay. I am, Your Honor.
For $2,500 in punitive damages and lost wages because, according to you, they didn't do their job right. Tell me what happened.
Okay, Your Honor. First, let me say it's a privilege and an honor to meet you. I watch you every day, twice a day.
Thank you.
Okay.
Then you know that doesn't mean I'm going to rule your
exactly,
way. Right.
Exactly.
You watch me too, right?
Yes.
Every day, twice a day, whether you need me or not? Okay,
Your Honor, before 9/11, I was a productive member of society with a very good job living in New York City. Unfortunately, after 9/11, I became disabled, and I moved out of the city and moved to Niagara Falls,
Did
New York.
9/11 have something to do with your disability?
Yes, it does.
How?
My job was 3 blocks from it, and I wound up breaking my ankle while I was running in the ash and everything. So I am hooked up with an insurance company called WellCare, and they hire them to take their clients to the doctors.
Okay.
Now, on February 18th, 2015, I had 2 doctor's appointments. One for my primary care physician, and one I had to take an MRI, but I had to have an open MRI, and I had to be sedated. So they said that the cab company had to sign a contract saying that after that is over with, they would be responsible to take me home. So I finished my MRI, the Medicaid cab pulls up, he comes in and he signs this because they wouldn't release me
unless he went in and signed
someone to drive me home.
Got it.
Okay.
Are you with somebody at the time?
Yes, I was.
Who were you with?
I was with another neighbor of mine. He just rode with me because they also
just to be with you.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then you walk into his cab.
I get in the cab.
And what happens?
And my phone rings. And it's another driver, another one of their drivers saying, "Miss, you're in the wrong cab." And I said to the driver, I said, "Sir, this driver is saying I'm in the wrong cab." So the driver went into rage. This is not your fare. This is my fare. And blah, blah, blah. So he pulls out.
Wait, but you're not a fare because you're not paying for it.
Right.
So did you explain to the driver, listen, I'm not paying?
Cab.
Yeah.
I'm Medicaid cab.
Well, obviously the other guy's telling him that.
Right.
Okay.
So we pull off. He said, I got to get gas first because I live in Niagara Falls, New York. I don't live in Buffalo.
Who has to get gas?
The first cab driver.
With you in the car?
With me in the car.
Wait. Cab driver number 2, who's your real ride, the Medicaid ride, and they have to be qualified differently than a regular driver, correct?
Yes, they do, Your Honor.
As in how?
We have to carry higher insurance.
For the Medicaid one.
That's correct, for Medicaid work versus a cash fare.
Right. And do they also have to undergo some testing?
Yes, they do.
That's different? Like what kind of testing?
There's drug testing and there's background checks.
So cab number 2, which is the Medicaid cab, drives into the parking lot and both cabs are in the parking lot, yes or no?
At the time that the second cab pulled in the parking lot, the first cab is already pulling out.
Of the parking lot.
Of the parking lot.
Okay, which means if he's pulling out,
right,
he's in the parking lot.
Right.
Yes or no?
Right, yes.
Okay. All right, so they're both in the parking lot.
Right.
Okay. Maybe I'm crazy, but why didn't this happen? When cab number 2 calls cab number 1, why didn't you just get out of cab number 1 and go into cab number 2?
Because number 1, I was under sedation, Your Honor. And number 2, he says, no, she's not in the wrong cab. She's in the right cab. And
that's my fare, but
right,
you know
they were bickering. I don't know. They're bickering back and forth. So he skeets out the parking lot.
With you in the car?
With me in the back seat.
And your friend?
And my friend. And he pulls.
Is your friend here? Is that who's that?
No, he's not the type of person that can talk.
Oh.
In front of Your Honor.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Okay, so he pulls into a gas station.
Where's the gas station?
The gas station is somewhere a couple of streets down from the MRI place.
Why doesn't he just allow you to go into the other cab?
So he calls the base.
Okay.
He calls the base. He's screaming, he's hollering. I'm not going for this. I'm not going for this. Get out of my cab.
At the gas station?
At the gas station.
How far is the gas station from the MRI?
No clue. I was a little woozy. I was a lot woozy. I said, sir, you really gonna put me out the cab? Get out of my cab now. So I got out of the cab and I looked up and I saw a Rite Aid. And I walked, now, Your Honor, it was 17 below zero outside. I walked into the Rite Aid and I sat in the back of the Rite Aid and called them. It took them 90 minutes to send me another driver. And then when he came, he said, I'll take you for free, but he gotta pay.
He who?
The person that was with me. See, when you call your insurance company...
Wait, you gotta be kidding me.
No,
the person who was with you had to pay when if he's taking you home for free, the person just exists in the car.
Right, so I told him if I was a millionaire, I wouldn't give him $50. So he put me out the cab again.
That did not happen.
Yes, it did. So he must have thought about it because he pulled out and he turned around and he came back.
Okay.
And he said, you know what, I'll take you home. He'll be my guest.
Okay. Well,
so
that's good.
I was in pieces when I got home. My anxiety and my panic came back all over again. I couldn't talk on the phone or nothing until the 25th of February when I called the...
Wait, what day was this? The 18th of February?
18th.
But I mean, I'd be angry and I'd be mad at the service, but why did your anxiety, like, what is it you mean?
Your Honor, when he put me out of that cab under sedation, I didn't know where I was. I was in Buffalo, New York. He had me. I didn't know where I was. Anything could have happened to me. I could have got raped, robbed, murdered, anything.
Okay.
I called the insurance company and I filed a grievance.
Okay, let me see the grievance, please.
And this is also a letter from the doctor that I went there that day with my diagnosis.
Previous to all the problems?
Previous to all of that.
Okay.
So we wouldn't be here today, Your Honor, if Liberty Taxi had enough common decency to return my phone calls. I'm still waiting for him to call me.
Really?
Still waiting for them to call me.
How many times did you call?
I called him at least 6 times and left messages.
When you say him, did you have the specific name of somebody?
Each time you call, a different person answers the phone. A different rude person, might I add.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, they're off the chain over there. Were you steamed on the phone?
Maybe they were a little afraid of you?
No, I have respect. I have respect.
What's going on?
Well, Your Honor, my witness has had conversations with the agency there that you see in front of you. I would like to have her come because she was really in contact with her.
What's going on?
Good afternoon. Some of the story does make sense. I'm the accounts manager. I take care of all the accounts in the medical accounts and the transportation. I did receive the complaint.
But what about what she says that she got taken to a gas station and dropped
did that really happen? That did happen, and it was the cash
with your
cab.
driver? Did you fire that guy?
Yes.
Okay.
He has been suspended.
Okay.
Which means he cannot work with us.
What's suspended mean?
Which means he cannot drive with us any longer.
Doesn't that mean fired?
That's what it means.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Would you have been like kind of satisfied if you'd heard that? If somebody called you and said, "We're so sorry, he's been fired, he's a coupon for a free ride."
Yes, I would have, Your Honor.
Okay, go on.
Yes, I would have.
And then I did receive the complaint from her company. So
now, wow, because no one calls a lady back. This is your company, you own it, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did somebody call her back? Did they say they did? I assume you had a meeting and tried to figure out.
This is the first time I heard of it was when I got the small claims.
Really?
Yes.
So, but then after you get the small claims summons, do you sit down with your staff and say, did anybody get calls from her?
Yes.
And did they?
Well, through Tracy, there's been communication.
I didn't get an actual call. I did get the...
No, did anybody that works at Liberty Taxi get a call?
I have no knowledge of that.
Were you calling the insurance company to complain or them?
No, I called them first. I said, I would like to speak to your manager.
And you left a message?
And I left a message.
Okay, and how many times did that happen? Just once?
That happened 6 times.
That happened 6 times?
That happened 6 times.
And then you went to the insurance company. Is anybody fessing up that they got these messages? Did you look at, like as the owner of the company, did you look on the register to see how many times she'd called or anything like that?
No, ma'am.
You probably should. Like somebody's not responding to the customer because she's taking a lot of effort, which means she's kind of angry. But in any event, so I think I know what happened. I don't understand, though, why the guy, well, neither do you because that's why you fired him, takes her to the gas station, especially if he's still close, if he's not out and about. Was his version that he was out and about?
I believe he called the office and it was verified that she was a Medicaid client and she did need a different cab. And I think he was... the situation, he was a little angry because...
Yeah, but why does he...
and that's why he was fired.
It boggles the imagination that she's still at the MRI center and that he doesn't just let her out. Why does he take her with him to go get gas?
You know, Your Honor, in the month of February, it was really, really difficult. I mean, I transport almost 2,000 Medicaid trips a day. And, you know, and I do feel bad for this whole situation.
Well, you should.
If I knew about it.
Okay, well, now you know about it. What are you going to do for her?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, 17 below zero, and they're in a fair dispute. Can the cab driver throw her out of the cab?
I believe so, because if the guy has to make a living. So if
the guy has to make a living, but does it put her in peril to be standing out in the street 17 below? I mean, is that fair?
I believe so.
Because?
She has to pay up or get out.
Pay up or get out? You buy that? Pay up or get out?
Yep.
So she leaves the cab. How about 30 below? You know I could just keep this up until you automatically freeze to death, right? Okay, go inside the courtroom.
We automatically normally would issue a gift card.
A gift card?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, okay, now I'm done skewering you. It's your turn.
Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Allen, you tell me how having to wait an hour for a cab entitles you to $2,500. Because it ain't going to happen. You cannot watch me twice a day and think that's going to happen, honey.
But I know you like to do rough justice.
Yeah, but that $2,500 is a little ragged around the edges for my taste. So if I were you, I would listen to the gift card. Because in a minute, I'm just going to have to rule.
Thinking, Your Honor,
huh?
He had signed a contract saying that he would take me home.
Listen carefully to me.
And he did not take me home.
Listen to me. Eventually, they took you home. You had to wait too long for a cab. That's what happened. That does not translate to $2,500. So just slow your roll a moment and let me hear what he would do if things had worked like they were supposed to and somebody had said, oh, that's awful, she's complaining, here, get the call from the complaining customer. Like, what would you have done to smooth it over?
We normally, you know...
A gift card for how much?
We normally issue $25 gift cards to anyone who has any kind of little complaint. We do this all day long.
This is bigger, though, because she didn't just have to wait. She got dropped off somewhere else. It was annoying, whatever else.
You said normally. So
normally. So what would you do in this one? Ooh, I feel like Money Hall again. What would you do in this one?
In this, I would go the face value of the trip.
So you are offering her a $50 gift card to Liberty Taxi?
Absolutely.
Okay.
A gift card for who?
Liberty Taxi.
No time at all, Your Honor, do I ever want to get in another Liberty cab. And this is my neighbor. He takes me to the doctor now.
Okay, that's fine. It's fine.
They don't list you a
If he'd
$50
have said Walmart
Applebee's.
or something else
Easy.
like that, we might could talk about something. But why would I want to get in his cab again?
And that's her choice.
And that's your choice.
Yeah.
Okay, now, Ms. Allen, let me just explain to you a little something.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, it's not looking good for you.
I got you, Judge.
Okay, so do you want their $50 gift card for someone?
Not for no Liberty Taxi.
Okay, well, that's all you're going to get. So do you want that or you want me to rule? He's not doing that and I can't make him. Honey, he's not doing it and I can't make him. He was doing that out of his own goodwill to kind of make this, you know, warm and fuzzy. But those are kind of your choices. Do you want to take his goodwill, which he might pull back any second now? or do you not want to take his goodwill and I'll just rule? It's however you want.
No, you donate that card to a charity.
Okay. All right, sounds good to me. All right, based on what I've heard and for the reasons I've explained, my verdict is for the defendants. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you.
Hold on right there. 1 second. Yeah, what you want, Kurt?
You are definitely not woozy now, is she?
I ain't woozy now.
No, stand right next to her. Go ahead, you know what I want, so go ahead.
Yeah, that was a little grimy right there. That was too much for me. Okay? I don't like for people to make light of putting people in dangerous situations, and they made light of it. It's okay, though.
Well, it worked out. I mean, you could have taken the 50 and given it to somebody or whatever.
Listen, let him give it to charity. You'll see him again.
You think?
He got about 7 people suing him. He ratchet.
The weather was 17 below.
All right. I know. We heard.
People die in that type of weather.
Yeah.
They had a winter advisory. They told the dogs to stay in the house, people stay in the house.
All right. What does he need to do now? You know how this works. Where are you going
He needs to step off. Going around that corner. Going around that corner. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
All right.
All right, step on in here. Yeah, all right, good. Right next to me right here. What's your reaction to this whole case here?
I'm speechless, even that I'm here. I mean, we work very hard to transport people. We transport over 1 million people a year. Here's one. I think that it was abused.
Well, how about the customer service that you provided? Could you have handled her a little bit better?
I think if I would have known from the driver, I would have reacted a little differently, faster.
Yeah. Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, you know, in this case, the cab company was in the right, but if you have a dispute with the cab company, most of them are licensed, you know, at least if they're legal, and you can always call that licensing agency. Sometimes they can work it out short of going to court. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Willie Gaddison. He says he gave the defendant money for an apartment he was going to move into. But unfortunately, his daughter passed away tragically, and he was unable to come up with the rent money. He told the defendant and asked for his deposits back, but the cold-hearted man told him to take him to court. So here they are. He's suing for $1,350. Money's paid for the first month's rent and security. This is the defendant, Dr. Tommy Doerr. He says he tries to help people whenever he can, and he fell for the plaintiff's story hook, line, and sinker. The guy, however, wasn't being truthful with him, led him to believe he was going to rent the apartment. So he stopped advertising it, and sure enough, the plaintiff double-crossed him, so he owes nothing. He's accused of having no heart.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff was going to move into the defendant's apartment, but his daughter died. He couldn't afford the rent and now can't get his security back. But the defendant says the guy is a liar. It's the case of major insecurity.
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Willie Gaddison?
Yes.
You are suing Dr. Tommy Doerr for $1,350 that you paid towards 1 month's rent and security deposit, which you want returned to you. Tell me what's going on.
Yes. I was renting an apartment from Mr. Dern in...
Is it doctor or Mr.?
Reverend Doctor.
Reverend Doctor. What's your... do you have a doctorate?
Theology.
Theology. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I was renting an apartment from him, and, you know, the first apartment, I gave him a $50 deposit down.
And you were supposed to move in when?
I think that was in November, if I'm not mistaken.
And when were you supposed to move in November?
I was supposed to move in December.
December 1st. And so how much money were you supposed to come up with by December 1st?
I was supposed to come up with $2,100.
And did you?
No.
What did you come up with by then?
I gave him a $500 deposit.
Okay. And then, so what happened with that apartment?
He gave the apartment away.
Okay.
That was the first apartment.
Okay.
And then he was talking about apartment in East Orange.
Okay.
So, like I told him, I really didn't want to move in East Orange, but to make a long story short, we ended up going up there looking at it, and we decided we was gonna move there, me and my wife. Okay. So me and him made an agreement to move in, but the apartment.
And when were you supposed to move into that apartment?
December 1st.
Okay.
But the apartment wasn't ready.
Okay.
So.
What does that mean, it wasn't ready?
He had all types of stuff. It was a lot of work needed to be done to the apartment.
Like what? Be specific. What was wrong with it?
It needed to be painted. It was holes in the walls, in the closet. He had all kinds of furniture in this apartment that was supposed to been taken out that Monday. Like I told him, I wouldn't move in the apartment until the paint job was done.
Did you have all the money by then?
Nah.
Okay, how much had you paid by then?
Maybe about $1,100 or something like that.
Okay, but you're supposed to come up with a certain amount of money on a certain day. How much money for that second apartment were you supposed to come up with, and on what day?
I was supposed to come up with the $2,100.
Okay, on what day?
Whenever the apartment was ready.
Okay.
And the apartment never was ready because I was the one doing the work.
Oh, well, why didn't you have the apartment ready for yourself? That's a little twist. Come on up. Your wife wants to speak for you. Does that happen a lot? Okay, go ahead.
What happened was that when his son had taken us to look at the apartment.
Whose son?
Dr. Durst.
Okay.
And we explained to him what needed to be done or what we would like to be done to the apartment. There were some loose tiles in the kitchen floor. The kitchen sink, there was no floor under the kitchen sink, like molding and mildewed and everything. There was a hole in the walk-in closet with lighting that needed to be done, and a lot of furniture that wasn't ours that was still in the apartment.
And this is all when?
This was in December.
Oh, in December?
Yeah, it was in December because we worked on this apartment about 2 months.
So why 2 months?
Because I was working and I was trying to fix this apartment up. Like I told him.
I know, but did he keep the apartment open for you for 2 months without you paying rent?
Yeah. I was paying on it as I was working on it.
Okay, okay. But in the end, how much money went from your hands to his?
$1,300.
Okay, and the rent is how much?
$850.
Okay, and you're taking longer than 2 months to finish the place to move in to start paying rent. You understand that $850 plus $850 is more than the 13 whatever. What did you want to say?
Well, what I was going to say was that when I asked Dr. Dirt to clean out the apartment, to get everything, just take the stuff away out of the apartment, he said it would be done by Monday. It never happened.
Did you ever come up with the money?
I think he owed $750. The last year,
right?
The money wasn't a problem because
the money wasn't a problem.
If he had
watch this, Dr. Durr, was the money a problem?
Yes.
Yeah. See, it's his money. It's not a problem to you, but it's a problem to him.
I left $750 balance just until the apartment was finished.
Okay, let me hear your response to this.
99% of what he said is a lie.
Okay.
They came to me in November. They wanted to rent an apartment. I showed them an apartment. They gave me $50. I said, okay. He was going to give us the rest of the money alone. I think he get paid every 2 weeks. So I said, okay.
Why?
I'm a sucker for church folks.
Okay.
So he told me drama in the church and all this, and I wanted to try to help him. And finally, the bookkeeper said, if they can't come up with the rent, Doc, they're not going to be able to pay the rent.
Right. I mean, you're not doing them a favor. You're putting them in a position where they're going to fail if you do that.
So I rented, as he said, I rented the first apartment because they never did come up with all the money. So the last, I took him to East Orange, and I showed him an apartment in East Orange. But he was right. He said first he didn't want to move these stunts. But when he saw it, he said, oh, I like that. Him and his wife said, I like that apartment. He said, but if you fix it, I said, I just painted it. I'm not doing nothing else to it. He said, you get me to paint, I'll paint it.
Wait, had you just painted it?
Yes. He didn't like
Was there furniture in it from the old tenant?
There was some stuff in there, yes, ma'am.
Like what? Don't look to him.
Sofa. I don't know. It really didn't matter about, Judge, what was in it because they didn't have the money to move in it. I have a crew that if they gave us the money, it could have been moved out right away. He said to me, okay, I'll paint it. I said, okay, I have the paint for you Monday. I gave him the key. He said, okay, I'll paint it, I'll do this. Because I told him I'm not doing nothing at the apartment. I took the paint up there.
Well, but you told me you would have moved the furniture if they had come up with the money?
Yes.
And they're saying they would have come up with the money if you had moved the furniture?
That's not true.
When is it that when was he supposed to when were they supposed to have come up with the money?
If you look here, this went on for about 3 months.
Yeah.
I was stupid to just take this, and the bookkeeper finally said, Pastor, you can't do that. They're not, if they can't come up with the rent and security, they're not going to be able to pay the rent. I gave him the key.
Are you his pastor?
No.
Oh, okay.
I gave him the key. He had a paint party. He said he had a paint party. I went up there.
A paint party?
Is that what you called it?
A paint party?
No, ma'am.
It wasn't a paint party.
Oh, you had a bunch of friends over to help paint?
No, him and my brother.
Okay. Hardly a party, but go ahead. All right.
So, he was going to give me the rest of the money.
At the paint party?
Yeah. So I went up there. He said something came up. He didn't have it. The next week, he told me, I said, I tell you what, I'm tired of this. You give me the money. I said, just give me the money. He said, okay, if I don't have the money Friday, I'll give you the key back. Until he brought the key.
He brought the key on Friday?
I don't know what day he brought the key.
Okay, but he did bring the key back to you, but he never paid you the money.
Hadn't paid me.
But did he ask for his money back at that point?
I believe he said something about his money. Okay. And I said, there's nothing to talk about. I've been holding that apartment. There's nothing to discuss.
So, who takes advantage of who more, landlords or tenants?
Tenants.
Really? Why tenants?
They trash the place. They're in drugs and alcohol, and they won't listen.
They're all a bunch of drunks and druggies?
Not all of them.
Not all of them. But they do feel very entitled to things, and sometimes they feel that if something's not fixed, then they can just withhold rent, which is not the case.
This is the first time everybody said landlords or tenants. That's interesting. Going inside the courtroom.
Mr. Gaddison, let me just ask you a question. Why should you be able to get him to hold the place for you for all those months, and then you can't come up with the money, and then he has to refund everything?
It wasn't the point I couldn't come up with the money. It was never ready. And I'm doing it for I got pictures. He's saying it was somebody, it was holes, everything in the wall.
But you're the guy who's supposed to be fixing it, and you are taking 2 months to fix it because you don't have the other $850 to go ahead and pay.
Nah,
so why is it taking 2 months?
I didn't really want to fix it.
See, here's the thing. When you say it was never ready, I'd buy that if you weren't the guy who's supposed to make it ready. That's what kind of gives you a little bit of a bad twist in the story.
He said he had a crew. Why didn't they do it?
Why didn't they? Why are you taking 2 months? Why? Why didn't your crew just come in and do it? Because he didn't have the money. See, it's which came first, the chicken or the egg? You know? But why didn't, no matter what, you had to get the place ready for somebody. So out of curiosity, why didn't your crew just come in and do it?
Judge, he said, okay, I like the apartment, but I said, I'm not doing nothing else to the apartment.
Oh, you had told him that you weren't going to do anything else.
He said, get me the paint.
Let me see the pictures of how horrible the apartment was that you couldn't move in. Let me see them.
Now, the pictures you're looking at most likely is when he's in there painting, whatever he's doing. Because I gave him the paint and I was finished with it until I got tired of waiting on him to come up with the rest of the money.
What is this a picture of?
That's a hole in the walk-in closet. Supposed to be. Every room I went in, it was a problem in. That's what was taking so long.
Judge, he said he was going to fix it. He kept having excuses why he didn't have the money. I wasn't doing anything else.
I believe this is a money issue and not a, fix-it issue. Because the things I'm looking at need fixing, but they're not that big a deal. And there's a reason why you're in there fixing them. And if you're the guy who's supposed to fix them already. Because this apartment looks pretty good. I'm finding in favor of Dr. Durr. That's my judgment.
All right, both sides.
So you just heard that decision as it goes against you and for the plaintiff. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, it's no problem.
It is a problem. We work hard for our money, and there was a lot of things that needed to be done. It never happened.
Well, what are you doing about living space now?
Oh, we definitely have somewhere to live.
You good?
Yeah, we're good. But it's a problem because we work hard for our money. We just don't give away $1,300.
So which comes first, the chicken or the egg, Mr. Gaddison? Which one is it?
Never been proven. Never been proven. Never been proven.
All right.
Thank you.
Which one does come first?
I think the chicken.
Why is that?
Because the chicken have to lay the egg.
Where'd the chicken come from?
That's another story.
Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, simple tip. If you're in a dispute with a landlord, you should somehow create a record of the conversations you have as they're going on. So, even if it means writing them down and sending them to the landlord by email, just so you can have some spontaneous record of what actually happened. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Michael. He says the defendant's driver swerved at the last minute from his lane on a rainy night, cutting him off, and he hit his brakes and slid into a parked car. The defendant refuses to step up and do the right thing by paying the damages his careless employee caused, and he's suing for the state max of $5,000 to cover his damages. This is the defendant, Arik Dome. He says his driver simply merged into the same lane the plaintiff was in, and the guy ran his car into a parked car. The cops investigated and found no fault with his driver, and the plaintiff's grasping at straws here. He's accused of not keeping his employee in line.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant's driver cut him off and ended up hitting a parked car as a result, but the defendant says the plaintiff was the only one who was reckless. It's the case of the unkindest cut of all.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Michael, you've asked to be referred to only by your first name. You're suing Amtech Air Conditioning and Heating Incorporated, represented here by its president. Are you the owner?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Arik Dome. Because according to you, one of his employees caused an accident and damage to your car.
Yes.
Tell me what happened. We have a little chart up here. Why don't you show me, pick a car that you want to be, go ahead and walk over there, pick a car you want to be, and tell me what occurred.
I was out here, and his vehicle was somewhere around there. It was approximately 5 p.m.
Okay.
It was rainy, and it was dark. And my lane was clear in front of me. And at the stoplight, there was a vehicle about to make a left turn, and since there was traffic built up, I'm coming down this direction, and he was coming this direction, and he saw the traffic piling up. He wanted to jump out of the lane, not looking, and he did not signal, and cut right in front of me, caused me to slam on my brakes, lose control of the car, and I skidded right into a parked vehicle.
So put one of those vehicles there.
Okay.
So there's a parked vehicle there, and you end up hitting the vehicle.
Right, and I hit him right in the rear.
Does he end up hitting the vehicle or hit you?
No, he just kept going, and then he pulled over when he saw what happened.
Okay, so he stops, and then what happens?
He pulled over, stopped, and then I had to back away from the vehicle because I didn't want to be in that position. So I backed away from the parked vehicle, and I proceeded to go forward and pull over in this direction.
Okay.
Then I got out of the car, he got out of the van, and we came together. And of course, I was upset
What'd you
about what
say?
happened.
Go ahead and go back to the lectern. And what did you say to him?
I don't remember exactly what I said, but I said, you pulled him out in front of me. You just didn't signal what happened, And he kind of said, well, he knew he was at fault, but he didn't say a whole lot. And I just said, listen.
Well, what did he say at all?
I don't recall exactly what he said.
Was it like, I'm sorry? Or was it like, oh, you were coming too fast? Or
nothing like that.
Neither one of those? So what did he say? What did he grunt? Did he speak?
No, he didn't say much. It wasn't much that was said. I just said that I was going to call the police officer and have them come.
So you called the police, and did the police come?
Yes, they came
All right.
about 10
Did they
minutes
write a
later.
police report?
Yes.
May I see the police report? All right. Were you the driver?
Yes.
Okay. Talk to me. What happened?
Thank you, sir.
Come on over to the lectern. To the board here.
Just use the same car as he did. All right. So he had that one parked there.
This one was Paul. This was him.
Yep.
I was driving on Merrick Avenue. I have a blind side mirror as well, where I could see any car behind me. Looked in my mirror, see nobody there. Switched lanes. I switched lanes. I don't even know where he was. There was nobody in this lane. I switched lanes. I'm driving. I hear a bang. Then a car pulled up behind me. Pulled up. He banged to this car. Pulled up behind me, honking his horn. So I pulled over. Told me I caused him to hit the parked car. I told him I wasn't involved. I didn't see nobody over there.
Stop talking a second because you don't. And then go there. So you pull over because he was honking his horn?
Yeah, his hood was a little messed up. He had like the grill.
When
was
did you
messed up.
first notice that there had been an accident?
I heard something way in back. It was about 50 feet in back of me.
Okay, and then what?
And then he pulled up behind
Wait, but how
me.
can it be 50 feet in back of you? Even the way you just showed it, it wasn't 50 feet. Well, you don't know.
Yeah, it was. I heard a bang.
So how do you know he was 50 feet in back of you?
Because once I pulled over, once it was behind me, once I pulled over.
Yeah, but by then you drove for an extra whatever because
it was really quick. I didn't drive for an extra.
So he then so he's beeping the horn, so you stop, and then you come out, and then he says what?
He says that I caused him to hit a parked car. That I cut him off. Told him I looked in my mirror, nobody was there. There was nobody at the mirror. I switched lanes. I was driving on that right lane, and then he says, "I'm gonna call the cops." The cops
Maybe
came.
you didn't see him. I mean, because
I have a mirror, and I
But what do you think happened? You think it was behind you, and you were both switching lanes at the same time?
I think it was behind me. We were both switching lanes at the same time. It was really, really slippery out. I mean, I was going very, very slow. I mean, I was going about 5 miles an hour. I don't know if he was behind me, started trying to switch lanes because he saw the traffic as well. Probably trying to switch lanes, not thinking that anybody was in the other lane. I don't know what he was thinking.
Or maybe you just didn't see him.
Well, I do have about an 8-inch mirror with a blind side mirror with on the
no,
right side.
I'm sure your car is equipped to see him. I'm saying people make mistakes, but I don't know.
Okay, so did the plaintiff, was he just following too close or legitimately cut off, and should he get his money?
Oh, I thought he was following way too close, and that's the reason why he crashed.
Is that the case? You always, when you get cut off, you're automatically following too close?
Yeah, I agree. It's too close.
No.
Okay, well, I mean, I think we just got a definitive answer. It was like, I don't know, like the Supreme Court or something, going inside the courtroom.
So what did the police write? Let's see what it says in the police report. The cops didn't give anybody a ticket, right?
No.
Not you, not him. Heading westbound on Merrick Drive, did attempt to slow for a vehicle in front of him. Wow, what the police write is that you're driving on the road and you tried to slow for a vehicle in front of you, causing you to hit the parked vehicle. He doesn't blame him at all.
Exactly.
Did he talk to him?
He spoke to him for a couple of minutes and then he let him go away.
Yeah.
But I continued to speak to, I told the officer exactly what happened and he just didn't write it up the way it happened. And I didn't find out till the next day.
He might have just looked, whatever. I mean, he doesn't bind me, but he might have just looked at it and said, well, that guy wasn't involved in the accident. He didn't even take his name. How did you end up finding them?
I got pictures in my phone.
You took pictures. Very good. Very good. All right, so he took pictures. You're the owner of the company.
Yes, of course.
He comes in. Did he tell you about it that day, or did you
called
learn
you that day? He called me.
What did he tell you?
He said I was driving. We're changing lanes same time. And
he said same time?
No, like almost same time. Changing lanes same time. It was night. It was raining, of course, and he hit a car. He hit a car. Said anything happened, make a police report right away. Called the cops. Then lady called me back. Said the cops told me to leave. I'm not involved, and that's it really.
Right. Did you have insurance?
I had insurance, but I didn't have collision. No, I had no collision on my car.
He also tried suing our insurance company.
But you can't sue the insurance company. You're supposed to sue the entity that's insured. Yeah. That's the proper way to do it. But what were you going to say?
The insurance company probably didn't find us liable as well because they called me to find out what happened.
I'm sure your insurance company didn't want to pay. That's every insurance company. But yeah, if I was the adjuster, I wouldn't pay on this either. There's just no evidence. I can't help you. I'm sorry that you didn't have collision. This is going to be one of those things. My verdict in this case is for the defendants.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, both sides, hold on, please.
All right, so that's bad news for the plaintiff. That verdict right out here. What's your comment on this?
I'm not happy about it.
No, I can see why not. But you understand how you were unable to prove the story, so it comes down to one person's word against the other in a courtroom where proof is necessary. What could you have done to prove it?
It's not much more I could have done.
A witness, maybe?
No witnesses. That's the problem. No witnesses.
An admission?
Admission to what?
Or something. You know, so you see the bind you were in and why the verdict went that way. Okay, head right down there. Well, he's stuck. If indeed he had a case in the first place, what's your reaction here?
I wasn't at fault. I was driving, he was driving, it was bad weather, and he ended up hitting a car that's parked. He might have been speeding, I don't know. I wasn't at fault of this.
Mm-hmm. So why would he go after you then?
Because he claims that I cut him off.
Yeah.
I didn't cut him off. There was nobody over there. I have an 8-inch mirror with a blindside mirror.
So why would he just single you out and get you pulled over, and why would he do that?
I was the car in front of him. I was the car in front of him.
He's looking to pin it on somebody.
Yes.
Harvey?
Okay, you know, I know this is like the most painful thing in the world, but you should really know what is in your insurance policy, and that means you got to read it, at least to some extent, and know what coverage you have, especially do you have collision, do you not have collision, how much are you insured for? I mean, all of those things are really critical to your financial security.